Hi, I'm Kristen White, and I invite you to join me each week as I interview experts who talk about the things that matter to you here on The Ripple Effect. Hello everyone, I'm Kristen White. There's a world of good news out there. Let's start in Arizona. It's called the Hot Rainbow and the Wellness Zap. It's an innovative energy sauna that is said to promote peace of mind and greater health and vitality in just a few sessions. Let's step into the light and check it out.
Just as plants need sunlight to grow strong, the human body also needs light to maintain good health and well-being.
It touches every cell in your body. It touches, even your emotions come loose. I don't understand all of it. What I do know is whenever spirit meets body, magic happens.
Welcome to Sedona, Arizona.
Okay, come on in, Lois.
Sedona Photon Light, the first to offer Photon Genius Energy Sauna.
Here's the machine. You've got 3 different zones. You've got zone 1, zone 2, and zone 3. And you can regulate each zone as to how high or low you want the heat.
A spa-like experience that conditions the whole body and mind.
Whoa! When people come walking out, they're like, wow, that was amazing.
It works, it's amazing. I used to have varicose veins all over my legs. They're gone. My skin has gotten nicer, smoother. I used to have broken capillaries all over my cheeks. They're gone.
It's the lights and the colors, they say, that creates a series of biological responses in the body.
It will ignite you. You'll feel clearer. You'll see better. And generally, people love it.
To me, it's like a large tuning fork. A lot of things happen in our lives that get us out of kilter. And whether it be radio waves, whether it be, caffeine, it doesn't matter. So the idea behind this is to refocus or retune up our cells and make sure that they're back in that harmonious frequency.
They say light therapy has been used successfully for years by specialty doctors. Dermatologists, sports medicine, and wellness centers have all used light therapy for healing.
From the high school athletes to the elderly who are taking 5, 6 medications a day for their heart and their blood, this should help you get down to where you want to be and get your body back to how you want it.
The people here believe that regular use of the Photon Genius can create a natural state of well-being.
They feel clearer, they feel like they can breathe better, their immune system just feels like it's them again instead of this other sluggish version of yourself.
Feel it right away, especially up in my shoulders, because it makes my muscles relax.
The infrared heat wave travels at a nice slow rhythm. On a low level, it's real rampant and fast.
They say the light energy weakens the disease-producing agents in microorganisms.
And that penetrates the blood, activates the blood, gets the immune system flourishing, feeling good, and sweating and dumping the toxins out of the system.
Many will have questions and doubts about this kind of therapy, but they believe once someone experiences the Photon Genius, they will have a much more positive view of life.
So far, we haven't found anything that this doesn't touch. It touches every cell in your body. It touches, even your emotions come loose when you're in there. So it just seems to have a full spectrum.
In Sedona, Arizona, I'm Kristen White for The Ripple Effect.
There's a world of good news out there. I'm your host, Kristen White. Let's start a ripple.
Ever want to write a book? Well, my next expert guest is Ann McIndoe. She's the woman behind numerous best-selling books, and she's also the author of the book 7 Easy Steps to Write Your Book. As an author coach, she'll help you get your book out of your head and into your hands.
Have you ever dreamed of writing your own book? Well, I wouldn't be surprised because 8 out of 10 Americans say they believe they have a book within them. Perhaps you're one of them. Well, my guest today is an expert on this very topic. Her name is Ann McIndoe, and she's here to tell us how we can get that book out of our heads and into the pages of a book.
Yes, absolutely. Hi,
Welcome.
Kristen. Thank you, Kristen. I'm delighted and honored to be here.
And the thought of writing a book seems overwhelming.
Yes, to many people, the thought of writing a book, they have the message, they have an experience, they have something that they want to share, they want to make a difference in the world, and they want to write a book, but they don't know how to get started. So it's like anything, you know, the great question, you know, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. And so that's what I show my authors how to do, how to get their book out of their heart, out of their head, one bite at a time.
Why is it so challenging for people to create these books that are inside of them?
You know, that's a great question. The biggest challenge is that people don't know how to get started. They don't know how to prepare their materials, how to organize their materials, how to structure the contents for their book, how to create content for their book. They have the stories, they have the experience, they have notes, they have journals, but they're not quite sure to do it. So that's my job, that as an author's coach, I help you prepare and organize and get ready to write your book.
So let's say you're sitting at home and you're watching this and you're like, I've always dreamt of writing that book. What is that very, very, very first baby step just to get it started?
The first step is, why are you writing this book? What's your why? Secondly, what do you want to do with the book? Third, who is your audience? And fourth, where are your audience? Where are they? So if you can answer those questions, then now you have a great first step. And so that's why I've created a tool I call the manuscript grid.
Okay,
and
I like that, the manuscript grid.
And okay. One of the great things about my manuscript grid is that it's a great tool. And it lets you see, this is how you create the structure of your book. Just as if you were going to build a house. After you have your land, you get your blueprint.
Right.
And you get your blueprint done. And then you start building, you create the structure for your house, and the same thing, you build the structure for your book.
So we know about the manuscript grid. Will you share with us another one of these tools?
Yes. The next step in the process, once you have your grid done, your manuscript grid, and you see all your subjects and your topics, and you see the structure of your book, now your book is coming alive. The next step is to start creating content. And that's where people get stuck. How do I make up content? What do I write?
Page, yes.
People say, I sat at my computer and I looked at that blank screen, and after a half hour, I said, never mind, I can't do this. And so that's where the trigger sentences come in, and that's something that I made up, just like the manuscript grid. So now, you have your grid, and you see chapter 1, the name of the subject is building self-confidence. First topic is, how do I get jiggy with myself? Okay, so now I want you to write a trigger sentence. One sentence or more about what you want to say about that topic.
So it sounds to me like you've created an incredibly easy system. Like what I like about it is it's like, here's step 1, here's step 2.
Absolutely.
And you break it down into these little bite-sized pieces, and then it's not, like you said, that blank page.
Yes. You know what? The first step, again is to answer the questions so that you know what you're going to write, your manuscript grid so you know what you're going to have, your trigger sentence so you know what you're going to say, then the storyboard so you know exactly how the book is going to be laid out. Then the final step is to talk your book. And that's where my process is really, really different. Everybody thinks they have to sit at a computer for hours and hours, weekends, go to a hotel for 2 weeks, take a sabbatical. No, no. My process takes anywhere from 4 to 6 hours. You pick one day to talk your book.
Wow.
You have a little digital recorder, get yourself in a great state, and you talk your book. And what's really wonderful about talking your book is that it comes from the heart. It sounds like you're talking to someone instead of writing, which sometimes turns a little bit more academic. So it only takes a couple of hours, and now you have your book. It's out of your head, it's out of your heart, it's in your hands.
And then, of course, it needs to go to an editor.
Yes, yes. And at that point, once you've talked your book, I take your audio files, I have them transcribed by my team, then we create your manuscript for you, we do editing so it's nice and clean, and you receive your beautiful manuscript.
It sounds amazingly easy.
It is. It's very easy, and after 539 books...
You know, you've got a system.
It works. I know it works.
Ann McIndoe.
Yes.
So You Can Write. Thank you so much for being here on the show. Incredible strategies and tips to help authors and wannabe authors get that book into their hands. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure to be here. Happy writing.
I love it.
See you in the bookstores.
That's right.
I love that.
Absolutely. Thank you very much.
Are you tired of trying to be happy? Do you want to move beyond the same old story in your life? My next guest, Owen McCabe, is one of Ireland's first life coaches. He's created a program called Open for people who are ready to live life from their hearts.
Hi, I'm Kristen White, host of The Ripple Effect. If you enjoy the interviews on the show, well, I have good news for you. You can learn more from these amazing experts who appeared on the show. All you need to do is go to the website, KristenWhiteTV.com, and guess what you'll find there? An extended interview, more than 15 minutes long, about all of the extra wisdom that we just couldn't even fit into the show. So go to Kristen White TV online, look up your expert's name, and learn everything else that they had to contribute that we simply couldn't fit into the show. See you on the website. You may not realize this, but every day in your life, with every decision you make a choice. Do you make that decision from your head, or do you make that decision from your heart? Well, my next guest is one of Ireland's first life coaches. His name is Owen McCabe, and he's come all the way here to be on the show. Owen, thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me. It's great to be here, Kristen.
So let's talk about this choice that we make. What does that mean?
Well, very simply, it's something that's available to us at any moment of any day, whereby we can choose to be meeting what's happening from our mind or from our head or from our heart. That's the choice. And ultimately, that's the most important choice we have. I suppose out of habit, most people tend to be in their head. They tend to be mind-centered. Being mind-centered is a very limited way of living, and it has its purposes. You know, it's not a bad thing, but to sort of focus on it exclusively or to use it as your main way of living is a very poor option and stressful.
I mean, give me an example. What's a mind-centered choice versus a heart-centered choice?
The thing about being head-centered or mind-centered is that you can neither be worrying or be sort of stressing out, and it's not helpful. None of that works. Whereas when you're in your heart, you're not doing any of that. You're actually connected to what's happening right now. So you're very present. One of the tools and a very simple tool is to use your breath. So to breathe right back into your body.
Yeah.
And to bring your attention and your focus to the heart space. So when we do that, we're tuning back into the essence of who we are, the truth of who we are.
How do we do that? How do you bring your breath into the heart space? I mean, it sounds easy, but how do you really do it?
Yeah. So some people may need to close their eyes when they do it, and especially if you haven't done it before or you're not used to doing it, just to get used to the change in state. So to close the eyes.
Okay.
And it may also help to actually put your hand over the heart space, which is in the middle of the chest.
Does it matter if it's the right or the left?
Doesn't matter, no.
Okay.
No. And then you just take a big, deep breath and imagine and visualize the breath going right down into the very pit of your stomach, going right down. And as your breath is going in, you're becoming more aware of your inside, the world inside, and you're tuning into what's happening in the chest, and maybe even in the stomach, in the solar plexus. So you're sort of scanning the inner you, right? And that helps you in that moment. In that instant, you're actually calming down. You're relaxing back into yourself, almost like you're stepping into a sort of a tight suit, but something that it's a perfect fit.
Right.
Yeah? And it's from that space, and only from that space, that you're able to sort of speak with any sort of genuineness. And if when you're feeling hurt or annoyed, you can come back expressing yourself from that space in a way that allows the person to hear you without feeling that you're attacking them or without feeling that you're being defensive or reactive. You
know, you raise a really interesting point, because I think when we're having a conversation, we feel under attack. Yeah. We hold our breath. Yes. It's like our natural response. We go, exactly. What are they saying? Is this going to hurt me? Yes. And then we think about it and process it. We're still holding our breath. Yeah, yeah. And then we get that adrenaline going around it. Absolutely. And so you want to lash out. Yeah, and it's that's so typical when we're in our heads, because we're disconnected, we're disembodied. So the only way we feel we can sort of defend ourselves is to attack and lash out. Life is all about love, and not in any sort of cliche sense. It's purely really about
being able to appreciate what we have and love what's going on in our lives and the people we have. Everyone who's in our life is in our life to challenge us to love them, full stop. And it's our job, it's always our job, if not our only job in this life, is to love to the best of our ability, to remove the barriers that we have inside ourselves so that we can love even better. Rather than waiting for other people to love us, that's a mind game.
What would you say to someone who's watching and they feel like they've never felt any love in their life? How do you connect to your heart?
In your own time, in your own place, what you can do is find a place that you feel at peace in. Could be a beach, could be a forest, could be your own bedroom or your own sitting room, doesn't matter. Somewhere where you can genuinely relax. And in your mind's eye, picture someone, and this could be like a dog or a cat, it doesn't have to be a person, that you genuinely love. Picture that person and you see them standing in front of you. And then you breathe into your heart space, breathe into the chest, yeah? And you visualize yourself sending that love like a beam of light coming out of a lighthouse, like a beam of light coming from you, from the center of your chest to that person or that dog, doesn't matter. It's just you're using that to connect with your heart space. And as you do that, the more you do that, the stronger this feeling gets. And that's your heart opening up. It's like a flower opening up to the sunlight. That's what's happening. And anyone can do it. We're actually wired to be that way. So all the person is doing, even if they think they've never experienced love in their life, it's there. They have it. They just need to go in there and start doing that. And you're giving yourself that gift of love and joy, and it just frees you from the stress of head living, of mind-centered living.
Oh, McCabe, thank you so much for being here with us and sharing what you love to do.
Yes, yes.
Coaching others. Thank you so much.
Pleasure. Thank you, Kristen.
Coming up next, energy healer Danielle Valet.
You may not realize it, but some of those past traumas that have happened in your life may still be holding you back today. My next guest is Danielle Valet, and she's here to talk about how we can release the traumas and get moving again in our lives. Danielle, welcome.
Hi, Kristen. Thank you for having me here.
So let's talk about trauma and the role that it plays inside our lives.
Well, traumas are very bad influences because they grip us, they make us prisoner. It's like us sitting in a corner and being immobilized by trauma. And most of the time, traumas are brought upon by beliefs we have, like false beliefs and limiting beliefs we have. And I work with replacing false beliefs, and sometimes I have to deal with the traumas first because they're so powerful that we need to release a bit of that before going on to the belief replacement.
So when we're talking about traumas, we can be talking about anything like an accident, a divorce. I mean, give me some examples.
The death of a loved one, like divorce, loss of a job, but it can also be some trivial stuff that you went through as a child, because for a child, sometimes something that seems trivial to adults are very traumatizing for children. So you may carry that on in your life for many years, and your whole life afterwards is influenced by that.
So childhood traumas can play a role in our adult lives?
They definitely play a role, especially since if they happen in early childhood, like before 6 years old. But beliefs are also installed as programs in the subconscious mind by feelings. Strong feelings have a direct connection with the subconscious mind.
So how can you tell, like, that if you have a trauma, that it's impacting your life today?
when we're working with a person, we question the subconscious mind. And it's a test based on kinesiology. Actually, there are several tests, but they're all based on kinesiology principles. So you ask the subconscious to answer questions, and it gives you very reliable questions because the subconscious mind manages the whole body. And when you use the electromagnetic forces to connect with the subconscious mind through the body, you're going to get reliable answers.
So you mentioned you use kinesthesiology. And how does that work?
The subconscious mind manages everything in the body, and we know that it manages circulation, the involuntary respiration, and our body is based on electricity and magnetism. So when you ask something that resonates true with the subconscious mind, it makes your body stronger. And when you ask something that does not resonate as true, it makes the body weaker. So that's how we know that if the subconscious mind agrees or not with the answer or with the statement. The Psyche method, it's a method that balances both brain hemispheres. And you know how our hemispheres are crossed at the neck? And so the right side governs the left side of our body and vice versa.
Yeah, they kind of crisscross.
So when you cross your members, then it forces the two hemispheres to get balanced. And that's another way of connecting with your subconscious mind. There are other methods as well. Some people use a magnet that they run through the meridians. And also, like, strong feelings will connect with the subconscious.
Let's talk about why it's important to release these traumas. I mean, what difference would it make in your life? I mean, some people would say, you know, yeah, it happened to me, so what?
In my case, it made a huge difference because I worked a lot for most of my life, and I kept having successes followed by disaster. Like, every success was followed up by disaster. And I discovered that I had beliefs like I was unworthy and I didn't deserve anything. And so when I started changing very, very basic beliefs, I saw a result in the 4 or 5 days following.
Wow.
So that was very fast. Of course, I didn't stop there because I had a lot more to take care of. But I mean, I saw a difference right there, which incited me to go further.
Danielle, I mean, are there some common beliefs that many people hold that just get in the way?
Absolutely. The scarcity belief, you know, like we believe that there's not enough money for everyone. Like if you get money, you're going to deprive somebody of money, or so that's a very false belief. There's plenty of everything for everyone. If we look at the universe, I mean, it's plentiful.
What about the belief around just being successful? You know?
Yes. Well, there's often a feeling of guilt.
You know, it's interesting that I know in a culture, there's also the saying about being the tallest poppy. You know, not being someone who stands out, that you need to stay even with everyone else, that you need to just stay small. And that can also get in the way of just, you know, sharing your gifts, sharing what your passion is with the world.
Yes. Our education was based on a need to conform. And be like everyone else, you know. But the truth is, we're an expression of a creation, and so we have like a divine light inside of us, and that only asks to shine.
Danielle Vallee, thank you so much for being here with us and sharing insight into how we can overcome our traumas and, you know, really shine in the way that we are meant to.
Thank you, Kristen.
Thank you. Hi, I'm Kristen White, host of The Ripple Effect. If you enjoy the interviews on the show, well, I have good news for you. You can learn more from these amazing experts who appeared on the show. All you need to do is go to the website, KristenWhiteTV.com, and guess what you'll find there? An extended interview, more than 15 minutes long, about all of the extra wisdom that we just couldn't even fit into the show. So go to Kristen White TV online, look up your expert's name, and learn everything else that they had to contribute that we simply couldn't fit into the show. See you on the website.
Sedona, Arizona for my series Spirituality Boot Camp, the 7 Principles of Spiritual Practice. You know, as we walk along the path in our lives, things happen that upset us, that make us angry, that create resentments. And this leads to the next in my 7 principles of spiritual practice, the principle of forgiveness. You know, this can be so hard when we feel like someone has done something to hurt us. But actually, it's been said before that having a lack of forgiveness in your life is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to die. Actually, when we do not have forgiveness in our lives, we are holding a lot of energy that would be available for us to create things that we want to see happen in our futures. So I encourage you, through the simple act of forgiveness, to open up your heart to the possibilities. So here's a few simple steps. First, look at the situation and forgive yourself. Second, forgive the person. And if you have some trouble with this, I found that this strategy works so powerfully. Take the part of yourself that's willing to forgive, no matter how small that might be, and ask God, your divine source, to empower that part. Watch that part grow over time. You know, through these principles, you can empower the largest muscle in your body. That's your heart, that muscle within. So let's lose the weight with Spirituality Boot Camp.
Coming up next, get naturally fit with holistic fitness expert Kimberly Johnson.
Hi guys, I am Kimberly Johnson with Naturally Fit. I am your fitness expert today. We are going to talk about 1 minute, just starting workout with 1 minute a day. So I want to show you something you can do in a minute for your hips, your thighs, your legs, and your core. It's called a lunge. Women love these because they lift everything up and tighten. So what we're going to do is just grab a countertop or a chair, something that you have in your house to hold on to start with. You're going to inhale, exhale as you draw that heel forward. And all we're doing here is dropping the hips straight down. So not leaning forward and not leaning back, but straight to the floor. And we're going to come up and inhale and exhale down. And just keep dropping. Start slowly and move up. We're not in a race here. We just want good form. That's the most important thing. So exhale down, inhale up. Beautiful. So a minute may not seem like a long time. However, it adds up. You get a minute workout every day for a week. It creates a ripple effect. And I'll tell you, you want more and more. So keep it going. Beautiful. Very nice. Awesome. Okay, so now we're going to switch to the other leg. And what I'm going to do is just show you a little bit of a modification here. I'll just show you a couple of these. So you want to stay in your heel. Come out so your toes are on. This is for people who have foot problems and can't put pressure on the balls of their feet. All you're going to do is come up and down. A bench, a chair, a bed. Just find something to put your foot on. And that's it. You've got 1 minute to tone and tighten, and I can tell you it works. So stay with me, the ripple effect, and you guys will be on target for loving your body even more.
That's it for the Ripple Effect this week. I'm Kristen White. If you saw something on the show that captured your attention, that created inspiration within your heart, I encourage you to take action today. I believe it only takes one word, one sentence, or one idea to completely transform our lives. Let's start a ripple.